Hi, welcome to today's Yin Flow. For today's practice, you are going to want a bolster or a pillow and a blanket. And I do have it set up to start where I've got the bolster under my seat and then I have the blanket folded over top just for a little extra cushion for my ankles. We are going to start in a seated position. So whichever leg you prefer in front, I do recommend sitting on your pillow or bolster just to raise the hips a little bit. Hands can rest on your knees, maybe palms pointing up towards the sky to start. Eyes can soften or close here. And give yourself a few moments of some shoulder rolls, starting by bringing your shoulders up towards your ears, rolling forward. A few times giving that rounded action to our spine. And then reverse, lifting your shoulders and then sliding them down your back. Noticing your crown lengthen towards the sky. And then settling when your shoulder blades are lowered away from your ears. Crown of the head reaches tall. Give yourself a few moments here. Just noticing that natural rhythm of your breath. Not changing or forcing anything, just noticing here. Then we'll start our practice with some breath work. First, we'll start by just some deep breathing. Inhale to completely fill the lungs, taking in as much air as you can. When you're ready, use your exhale to press out all of that air. Completely releasing the air. Inhale completely full. Exhale for total release. Give yourself a few more rounds here. Now, if this starts to feel uncomfortable or like you're not getting enough air, just settle back into your natural pattern. Give yourself one more round wherever you are. Now, if this feels good, you can continue with this pattern, or I'll guide us through some alternate nostril breathing. So I like to switch out the leg that I have in front. We'll be here for just about a minute, nice and short, but bring your right hand towards your face. Pointer fingers can come between your eyebrows. Thumb rests on the right nostril, forefinger on the left nostril. Close your left nostril. Inhale to breathe, breathe out to prepare. Then inhale through the right. Close the right. Exhale through left. Inhale through left. Close left. Exhale through right. Continue this pattern for a few more rounds here. Again, allowing yourself to fully inhale and fully exhale, following the pattern. If it ever starts to feel uncomfortable, you can settle back into your natural rhythm. Allow yourself to complete one more round, ending with a final exhale out the right nostril. When that's complete for you, hands can come back towards your lap. We'll make our way towards our first shape, a reclined shoelace. So you might want to slide your bolster off the mat. I like to bring my blanket with me, and then I'm going to set that right below my head just because Yin's all about being comfortable. So I like a little extra cushiony. You'll lower down, mat supporting your shoulders, hips, head resting on the blanket if that feels good. And then start by lifting right leg towards the sky. Bend your right knee and pause here first. Reclined figure four. This is a beautiful stop to take. If you'd like to go a little deeper into opening the hips, you can slide your right knee over top and then gently pull your knees towards your chest. Hands coming to opposite ankles, maybe edges of the feet, whatever feels best for you. Once you find your shape, again, finding about 70% of your edge, breathe here. Checking in with your breath. Give yourself about 3 more full rounds here. When that's complete for you, you can gently unwind whatever shape you're in. Both soles of the feet rest on the mat. I like to take a windshield wiper here, knees fall one direction and then the other before setting up for the other side. Reminding ourselves our sides might be totally different. So starting with that left leg extended and then bending your left ankle over right knee. Reclined figure four. Maybe this is where you stop on this side of your body. Or you can try that reclined shoelace, sliding left knee over top of right. Hands might come to calf, maybe ankles, or opposite hand to the edge of opposite foot. Again, whatever is available on this side of your body. Give yourself time to make adjustments as you need to, bringing yourself to that 70% edge, and then settling in. Give yourself about 3 more rounds of breath. As that's complete, soles of the feet return to the mat. Once more, maybe windshield wiper, knees fall side to side. And then taking a brief happy baby, shorter than our other yin shapes, pull knees in towards your chest, and then hands can find the bottom of your feet. Maybe they grab the outer part of your thighs. Just whatever allows you to pull, or I should say encourage, not forcing anything, your knees towards the mat. Give ourselves about 5 rounds of breath here. As that's complete for you, knees can hug in towards your chest, and then gently make your way over towards your side, pressing up to a seated position. And just doing what we can here to move nice and slow. We're gonna set up for swan, so I'm gonna take some props with me. I might not use them all, but starting here, swan you'll sometimes hear referred to as pigeon in other practices. I like to start in almost a tabletop, and then I bring my right knee towards my right wrist, left ankle up towards my left wrist, just as far as is available for you. And then you might find that you have the bolster in front of you, forearms rest there, sinking down into that shape. Now, if your hips are square towards the mat, meaning you're not leaning off to one side, you're doing great as long as it still feels good for you. If you notice you're wanting to lean towards one side, or this just generally doesn't feel good, you can back out of the shape slightly by coming to a deer pose, which has your hips on the mat, but your left shin is parallel with the long edge of the mat. We sometimes call this a 90-90 as well. So again, taking whatever expression feels good for you. Finding that 70% of your edge that we can hold for a longer amount of time. When you're ready, eyes soften or close, settling into stillness. Once again, starting to notice your breath here. Just bringing some awareness back to it. And allowing yourself to move slowly, maybe more slowly than you'd like. Hands plant into the mat. Lift your upper body out first and then shift back towards that tabletop position. Between sides, it can feel good to take maybe a cat-cow, dropping your belly and then rounding the spine, or bring in some C twists, some side stretches. Shoulder and hip reach together on one side and then the other. And when you're ready, other side, starting by bringing left knee up towards left wrist. Left ankle might come up towards that wrist as well. And then slowly lowering down. Again, you might find that it feels better on this side to take a deer pose, bending that extended leg, sinking your hips back. Again, just allowing yourself to check in, try out a few things. You always have time to adjust in yin. Giving yourself time, then settling in when you're ready. Give yourself a moment here, noticing your breath. Maybe noticing if your mind started to wander, gently nudging it back towards practice. And then starting by pressing hands into mat, lifting back to that tabletop shape. Again, any movement in the spine here that feels good, cat-cows or side stretches. Really just a little movement before we settle into Sphinx. Personally, I prefer a blanket under my hips in Sphinx. It just feels nice on the mat. And then I also take that bolster and slide it right up under my rib cage. So I have my elbows over top of the bolster. Bolster pressing into rib cage. In some bodies, this feels really good. In some bodies, it feels a little claustrophobic. So you are welcome to keep the bolster or release it. Again, taking the back bend that feels best for you. Maybe that means elbows press into the mat, gaze right between your hands, and then eyes soften or close. If that feels too intense, you can always stack knuckles and rest your forehead there, or rest your forehead on the bolster in front of you. Again, whatever feels best, particularly in your low back. Then allow your lower body to soften as much as possible. Eyes soften or close. Body and mind settles into stillness. Checking in with your breath, giving yourself about 3 more rounds of breath here. As you're ready, you can slowly lower down, so sliding that bolster out if you are using it, stacking your forehead or stacking your hands, forehead rests there. Give yourself a moment in stillness. Then maybe you bend your knees, allow your heels to fall side to side in that windshield wiper motion. And once again, extend your legs long. We'll prepare for half frog. So if you have that blanket under your hips, you'll slide it out towards the right of your mat. You want it about midway on your mat. Once again, hands stack for a nice little pillow for your forehead. And then slide your right knee up towards your hip. So it'll be coming out at about a 90-degree angle. You might have your ankle in direct line with your knee, if that makes sense, like it's at 90 degrees, or you can bring your ankle out a little wider. Whatever feels best in your knee joint, there's no right or wrong. Hands can support the forehead, or you can roll so your right cheek is laying on the mat just for a tiny bit of a twist. Again, make adjustments as you need to. Allow yourself to sink into that 70% edge. And when you're ready, settle in. Checking in once more. Allow yourself to move slowly. If you had your cheek on the mat, bring your forehead back to your hands. Extend that right leg long. And then gently move your blanket towards the other side. So this time it's on the left, once again towards that middle area of your mat. And then sliding your knee up to about hip height, finding the ankle placement that feels good for you. Give yourself time, don't rush yourself here, finding that placement. Then forehead can rest on your hands, or left cheek turns to rest on the mat. Encouraging yourself to be slow and gentle here. If you've taken that twist, bring your forehead to your hands. Extend that left leg long. And then gently press up towards a tabletop. You might want your blanket under your knees. If you prefer that for a little cushioning in child's, you are welcome to take that. We're going to be taking child's pose with a bolster. So you'll lay the bolster lengthwise in front of you. Knees as wide as feels good for you. And I sometimes like to roll up my blanket and use it as a little cushioning between my heels and my seat. Now this includes a gentle twist. So you'll reach your arms forward and then bring your left cheek to the mat first, rather to the bolster. You might take your hands under the bolster, bringing a little extra space. And then as you're ready, settling in. Eyes can soften or close, and I'll let you know when it's time to switch sides. Allowing yourself to move slowly here. You can gently turn your head so right cheek is resting on the bolster this time. Giving yourself a moment to adjust and settle in as you need to. As you're ready, you can gently turn back towards center and then pressing into your hands to slowly lift. We'll make our way towards our final shape, Shavasana. Now give yourself some time here to use your props in the way that feels best for you. You might slide the bolster under your knees. That can bring some relief to low back. Maybe use the blanket under your head for a little cushion, or you can even unfold it and use it as a blanket, covering your whole body. Again, whatever feels best for you, no right or wrong here. Focusing mostly on just allowing yourself to release into this shape. When you're ready, hands can rest down by your hips, allowing your body to take up as much space as feels good. Allow your body to be heavy here. And I'll let you know when it's time to come out. body can remain still. If it feels good and is available to you today, you're more than welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, starting with gentle movements, wiggle your fingers or toes, roll out wrists and ankles, and encouraging yourself to move slowly. You can roll over to a fetal position on either side before gently pressing yourself up to a comfortable, easy seat. Giving yourself a moment here to pause, feel into some gratitude for showing up today, reminding yourself of that importance to take care of yourself, of your body, of your mind. Just allowing yourself to feel proud for that time you took. We'll close with a collective breath. You can exhale to prepare. Inhale, reach your arms towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have a lovely day.